We want to go to 1 John. 1 John chapter 5, and verse number 1 down through 3. Number 1 says, I'm going to read it out of the New American Standard. It says, whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. Whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. And whoever loves the Father loves the child that's born of him. Whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. And whoever loves the Father loves the child born of him. Yes, this is. If you believe, and we talk about the Christ, we're talking about the anointed. We're talking about the anointed king. We're talking about the anointed one that was promised, that God promised us to send into the world. Amen.
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 But we see here, he says that if you don't believe that Jesus is that one, he's not of God.
Glory to
If you believe that he's the one, then you're born of God. Now why can't you be not of God if you don't believe that Jesus is not the Christ? The reason why, if you don't believe that Jesus is the Christ, that you are not of God, because it is impossible for you to have been taught about God. It's impossible for you to have learned about God and have heard about God to deny that Jesus is the Christ. It's impossible for you to do that. It's impossible for you to have been taught about creation and how God created everything. It's impossible for you to, if you have been taught about how man came into existence and how he created the plants and the animals and the lights and the sun and the moon and the stars and the fish and the beasts of the field and the birds of the air. And then he goes on to tell you about how you get in this condition and the situation that you're in. If you've been taught about that, it's impossible for you to deny Jesus Christ.
Ooh, glory.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And if you're denying him, it's because you haven't adequately been taught. You haven't adequately been taught. And he goes on to say that, and whosoever loves the Father loves the child born of him. It's impossible for you to love God and hate the child that's born of God. It's impossible for you to love God and to hate the child that was created by God.
Okay, come on, preacher.
Amen. It's impossible for you to do that.
Amen.
How is you going to love the Father and then hate the Son? How is you going to love the Father and hate the child? If you hate the child, it's because you don't know anything about the Father. Because you don't know anything about the Father. Amen. I don't have a son. I have 2 daughters. But ain't nobody that knows me and claim they love me is going to run around with hatred in their hearts about my children.
Glory.
They're not going to do that because it's my responsibility is to teach my children what I've been taught. So if they are manifesting, if it's being manifested in their minds what I taught them, and I'm manifesting what I taught them in my life, then they're the same as me. And how are you going to love me and hate them?
Come on, preacher.
That's impossible.
Amen.
That's impossible.